is more like it. The launch title that is perhaps most fondly remembered is the indomitable little plumber's first outing on the Game Boy. Super Mario Land is such a mainstay of video game history, and deservedly so. Mario was already firmly established in the original Super Mario Bros. Games on the NES, and was always going to be the flag bearer for a new Nintendo console. Super Mario Land sold more than 18 million copies, more than Mario 3 on the NES, and played a huge part in the early success of the system. However, the graphics are more akin to the first Super Mario Bros. Game than number 3. It can't be ignored that the look of this game is incredibly Spartan. Perhaps this was Nintendo playing it safe at such an early age. Mario is only 12 pixels high, and several enemies are equally lacking in detail. This was a strange decision, especially considering that there's not a whole lot going on in the backgrounds either. In the realm of strange decisions, this game went against the Mario canon sometimes. Mario's father and creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, took a somewhat hands-off approach to Mario's first portable adventure, leaving many creative decisions to the unadulterated genius of Game Boy inventor Gunpei Yokoi. This game isn't set in the Mushroom Kingdom, but some alternate universe called Sarasaland, an odd place where fireballs fly diagonally, Koopas explode, and one-up mushrooms are replaced by hearts. It's not Princess Peach you're saving. Here the hapless, distressed damsel is one Princess Daisy. Yes, it's that Mario game. Ultimately though, this is the same game you've played before. The storyline is not the thing to focus on, rather what this game achieved. The controls are tight and responsive, if a little slippery at times, and it may seem that the controls are nothing to remark on, but they set a certain benchmark for future platformers on the Game Boy. The perfect A to jump, B to fire setup in the 2-button format cannot be improved upon, despite the efforts of some development companies insisting it should be the other way around. This is how you program platformers. It's instinctive and so ingrained in players' reflexes that any other combination just doesn't work. Sorry, Ocean and LJN, but you're not winning that argument. Aside from the traditional levels, there are a pair of side-scrolling shooter stages which actually play really well, with some particularly excellent music adding to the more frenetic pace. The entire soundtrack really is a masterpiece. It's not a long game, but the compositions that accompany it are delightful, burrowing into your subconscious for hours after turning the game off. And that ending theme, oh wow. Sadly, Super Mario Land can't be awarded a perfect score. The graphics let it down too much. It's understandable why these design choices were made. Yokoi and his team were working with a brand new medium, and it would have been all too possible to overwhelm the prospective audience with too many visuals. Even so, it's just too sparse, which, when coupled with the dot matrix blur, could have put players off. The gameplay, while excellent in so many ways, doesn't get a 10 out of 10 either because the game's just too short and too easy. The same justifications could potentially apply to this too, and there is a hard mode unlocked if you fancy looping the game. Despite these minor shortcomings, it has to be remembered and acknowledged that this was one of the first games on the Game Boy. Its importance cannot be understated. So many games followed this formula and many fell short. There were a few, however, a blessed few, that took what Super Mario Land started, ran with it, and made wonderful things happen. These will be visited later on. For now, put this book down and play this game. You owe it to yourself because, despite its occasional ugliness, it's unfeignedly quite beautiful.